is Karimah Tajani with 110th Consulting, and today we're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive with outcome management. As we go through how Salesforce helps nonprofits organizations go beyond basic reporting of outputs to track outcomes and impacts, let's review what output tracking is. Output tracking is all about recording and managing the services, activities, and interactions your nonprofit delivers. For example, number of workshops, number of youth mentored. Although output tracking is relatively basic, it does help show how active and productive an organization is, and it can also fulfill basic grant reporting and compliance requirements. But the drawback of output tracking is that it doesn't tell whether your work is actually making a difference. For instance, are participants learning new skills, or whether your services are effective and not just delivered. That's where outcome management comes in. Now, before diving into Salesforce's outcome management, let's define outcomes and impact tracking. Outcome and impact tracking involves measuring the effectiveness of interventions of projects or programs by tracking their results and changes they create. Outcome tracking focuses on immediate and short-term results, while impact tracking assesses long-term and broader changes. Now, why is outcome management important? Outcome management is important because it can fill some of those gaps that output tracking is missing. For example, it demonstrates the real-world change resulting from programs and services. Because you're tracking outcomes, you can really see the difference your work is making in people's lives. Answering the question, did anything change because of this program? Did communities become safer? Did families become more stable? It also builds credibility with funders, donors, and stakeholders. When you can show proof that your program works, funders and donors and stakeholders are more likely to trust and support your organization. And also, it helps highlight areas for improvement and growth. Tracking results help you spot weak spots so you can fix them and make your program stronger. That enables continuous learning and program refinement, as you can only improve what you measure. And also, it provides meaningful data for storytelling and advocacy. Having real numbers and stories lets you explain how your work is powerful and relatable in a way that motivates action. Now we're going to be going into outcome management in Salesforce and what it is. Outcome management in Salesforce Nonprofit Cloud is a native set of features that helps nonprofits track, measure, and demonstrate the real-world impact of their programs, beyond just outputs like services delivered or hours logged. It helps answer that question, are we truly making a difference? So in Salesforce, you have three main objects that are the core building blocks of outcome management that include outcome, activity, and indicator. Outcome shows us what change we're trying to create, and then activity is what we're doing to achieve that change. And then the indicator is how we'll measure progress towards that change, which is the outcome. For example, a nonprofit that serves vulnerable youth, an outcome could be increasing youth employment in underserved communities. Some of the activities could include things like resume workshops, internship placement, and interview coaching. An indicator could be the percentage of youth placed in full-time jobs within 6 months of completing the program. All right, now we're inside of Salesforce, and what we're looking at here is the outcome management home. So first things first is creating an outcome. Now, what the outcome object tracks is information about expected changes produced by an organization's activities or efforts. So in this outcome that has been created for our use case, we have the outcome being youth attending interviews. We want that intended direction to be increased. The term is medium term, active. We've created a source name and added a description. Now let's go over to the activity. In outcome management, the activities are tracked with the activity object, and that's what connects an outcome with a program, benefit, or goal definition. And for our use case, our activity would be the Project Blue Career Coach session, resume support and job search, As you can see, it is connected to the outcome and the program. And of course, this activity type is program activity and it's connected to the actual outcome. It's time to create an indicator. Now, what are indicators? Indicators basically help an organization measure the results of their work and progress toward their desired outcomes. Now, within outcome management, there are two different types of indicators. There are program indicators, and that measures progress within a program or activity. And then you have the outcome indicator that measures progress towards desired outcomes. So here on the indicator definition object, indicator definitions are really important for outcome management. They help explain what a program is measuring and kind of why you're measuring it as well. It's always important to include a detailed description of the indicator definition. That way, anyone using the outcome management understands what the indicator is representing. So here we have the name of the definition, which is interview invites. We have the unit of measure, which is interviews. And of course, the description, which is youth reports receiving invitation from potential employer for an initial interview. Now that we have this indicator definition created, we're going to go over to indicator assignment. And what that does, and it connects the indicator definition with an outcome or program. So as you can see here, we have the indicator assignment, which is scheduled job interview, increased job interview invites. We have the intended direction, we have the program, the outcome, and of course, the actual definition. So this is all assigned to the outcome and the program. So in order to make indicators actionable, we have to create time periods. In the outcome management, the time period for results is tracked using the indicator performance period object. Time period was already created, but let's go over to time period. And as you can see, we have HY1, which represents half year one. The start date is January 1st and ends June 1st. So after creating this time period, we then create the actual indicator performance period. Here we have named it job interview invites, HY1. We have connected it to the indicator assignment. We have the time period here, a brief description. Now, when we go over to target details, you see target value. Now, target value is the goal value for the indicator performance period. So for our use case, we want our youth to have an average of 4 interviews over the span of 6 months. And then for baseline, that is the beginning or comparison value for the indicator performance period. So for our use case, we have the baseline representing the results for the youth that were enrolled in Project Blue interviews for half year of the previous year average. And that baseline is 2.8. Now let's talk about collecting data. Indicator data can be collected in different ways and loaded into the outcome management in records of the indicator result object. The indicator result object tracks individual measurement values of an indicator definition. One way to collect it is through dynamic assessments, as you can see here. And that enables programs or organizations to collect data from detailed multi-step questionnaires that include conditional logics and dependencies. For our use case, we are going to create it in the indicator results. Now, as you can see here, we have the indicator results. Now we're going to go ahead and open one of these up. Now, as you can see here, this calculation method was created manually, but Salesforce has a great way of using a flow to generate results and relating them back to the indicator period. That will be shown in a future video, but for now, we just went ahead and used manual methods to enter this information. Now, if we go to the indicator performance period and we look for our performance period, you can see here, you can see the time period, the baseline, the target, and the last result. And that target progress for now was not met. With Salesforce's nonprofit cloud's outcome management, you'll have the tools to clearly see what's working, how to make informed decisions, and lead programs that create real lasting change. Thank you so much for listening.